Hi, welcome to the Beauty Authority. I am the director of aesthetic content, Tatiana Bido, and today our topic is teen skincare, but really it should be intergenerational skincare because we're here with Bubble Skincare founder and CEO Shai Eisenman. Hi, Shai, how are you?
It's so good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. I love this topic because it's something I'm going through right now. I have a preteen in my house, and what everyone says about Bubble is so true because it is something that you can use and your child can use. And it's a great introductory skincare treatment plan for everyone in the family. So I'd love to know more about it. Was it always your plan to have an intergenerational skincare line like this?
So we started working on the brand about 7 years ago when we realized that there's such a big gap in the market. There's so much innovation happening in prestige, so much innovation happening in more expensive price point. But then when you look at a price point of $20 or under, people are still stuck with the same things that I used when I was younger and that my mom used when she was younger. And it felt like in general that consumers who are looking for more affordable price points constantly need to compromise. They either need to compromise on the quality of the ingredients or the quality and the efficacy of the formulation or the experience or the emotional connection. It's either, a product that is not great for you or a product that has a decent formulation, but there's no emotional connection and excitement over the brand. And then when you look at prestige, there's so much you can get everything, but you just need to pay such a premium. So
Right.
felt like there's so much room to create a brand that gives you everything you're looking for. So really high quality ingredients, top premium clinical results, and be exciting and be something that is actually people enjoy using and is joyful, but at the same time to be affordable and accessible. So really to be able to give you all the above. So very excited to be here today and
Yes.
excited to hear that it's becoming more and more cross generational.
Absolutely. And I feel like when Bubble first came on the scene, we heard about Bubble and then it just exploded in a crowded market. What do you attribute that success, just having that from the start?
So when we created the brand, we actually conducted a lot of research. So we conducted focus groups with 200 people, and then we did quantitative research. And then actually we created a community, which today the community is over 85,000 people strong, who is a part of every decision we make. So they're part of thinking through the product names and testing the product and what do we launch and what they're still missing in their routine from Bubble and what do they want to have. And then at the same time, we also have an advisory board of 9 dermatologists. We're
Hmm.
actually also one of the only indie brand that I know that also has a full, very big R&D team that is in-house. So we have in-house chemists, we have product developers, we have advising dermatologists, and it takes us 2 to 3 years to create a product. So we always like to say that we feel like the combination between true efficacy and clinical backing together with actually listening to our consumers and letting our consumers tell us what they're looking for is really the secret combination that helps us be where we are. And we never assume we know best. I'm a second time founder, and when I was a first time founder, one of the things that I always had in my mind is like, I know exactly what people's problem is and how am I going to solve it because that's what I experienced. And I think one of the biggest shifts that we've made since I started the brand 7 years ago is we never assume we know best. We always listen to our consumer first and we always let them decide. And that's why really kind of our community is our guiding compass through everything we do.
Well, I love everything about the brand, especially the packaging and the accessibility. And it makes it easy to, especially when you're dealing with a younger, maybe someone who's not willing to start a skincare routine in the early days. It's easy to sort of incorporate that. And now we hear about Sephora Kids. So, teens, tweens, and I have a Sephora kid in my life too, and they can really do damage at the store. But what is important for parents to know right now, especially with this phenomenon happening about the skincare that they choose for their child?
So I'll start by saying that I have a 9 year old girl. So I feel you there. And I totally, I know exactly. I hear from her and her friends all the time. And it's something that is very close to me personally because it is very personal to me. It's not just, I don't just look at it from a brand founder owner perspective. I look at it as a mom. I look at it as somebody who used to be a teen. And one of the things that we're actually the most proud of is the brand is very cross generational. In my household is 4 generations of bubble. My daughter's using it, I'm using it, my mom is using it, and my grandmother's using it. At the same time, we are, again, as far as I know, the only brand in the market that actually conduct clinicals of safety and use on 8 and up. We're dermatologist recommended. Our derms is a part of every product development, and they guide us through what do they believe we should, what ingredients we should use, what process we should take. And this is why, I can wholeheartedly say that the products that we recommend to younger consumers are great for younger consumers and have been tested on younger consumers. We have, for younger consumers, what we recommend, and we're such big believers in less is more.
Uh-huh.
And we believe that from 0 to 99, the only skincare routine that you should 100% have is a cleanser, a moisturizer, and sunscreen.
Yeah.
Sunscreen is the most important part of your routine. We highly recommend mineral sunscreen. We're very big believers in physical filters. So mineral sunscreen, and then of course you need to wash it off with a gentle cleanser that is not going to strip your skin, and then a gentle moisturizer that is going to be hydrating and nourishing, and is going to provide what you need, essentially after cleansing your skin. You really do not need anything above that, especially when
Yeah.
you're younger. And I would also come and say that even with older consumers, they can choose to add treat products to treat certain concerns, whether if it's dryness or hyperpigmentation or, any specific or acne. But at the same time, the core of your routine, the must have is just the cleanser, moisturizer, and sunscreen.
Yeah.
And before you're 14, we don't recommend you doing anything above that,
You don't need
essentially.
any actives right now. Yeah,
Exactly. It
absolutely.
it does change the moment. We say 14 is a number, but we
Mhm.
like to say that the transition point starts when you start breaking out.
Right.
So the moment when you start breaking out, some people start experiencing hormonal breakouts at an earlier age. Some people start experiencing it at a later age. That's the moment where you can start incorporating salicylic acid. That's the moment where you can start, doing things that are specific to treating your acne.
Yeah.
But before that, nothing is needed above sunscreen, cleanser, and moisturizer.
Just a little fresh start and a little slam dunk
Exactly. And Solar Mate.
and solar
Definitely,
mate.
definitely Solar Mate.
Yeah.
One of my biggest prides, like one of the things that I'm the proudest, is the fact that Solar Mate is actually the only sunscreen that my daughter's actually happy to use in the morning. And
Yeah.
just the fact that I'm able to get a 9-year-old to actually be happy to apply sunscreen in the morning is like one of my biggest wins in life.
I have a 9-year-old, my boyfriend's daughter, and she loves it. And then I'm trying to get my 12-year-old to, he's a boy, he doesn't think he needs anything. So, but he uses the cleanser, and I think that's a good entryway. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Explain to him that that's the only part that is about his health. It's not about his skin.
Right, right. But it's good because it helps us broach the topic, and it's like I said, it's accessible, it's fun colors. I want to use it. I do use it, and I think it's helped us have a conversation that I didn't think we could even have before. So, I think that's wonderful.
That makes me very, very happy. So thank you.
So we talked about your dermatologist panel, and I actually ran into you. Visited your booth at AAD. You had a huge debut this year. Your booth was packed. What did that mean for you just to see so many dermatologists gravitate towards the brand and either get introduced to it for the first time or come and say, hey, I recommend this for my patients?
It was, in a founder's journey, there are several pinch me moments. This was definitely one of them. The brand was always derm developed and was always, created, and we had derms review every product that we created. At the same time, to really build a strong derm program, you need to be at a certain stage because it takes a lot of time and a lot of investment. And when you're an indie brand, you sometimes need to do things at a slightly later stage.
Yeah.
And for us, AAD has been a dream for years. And last year, actually, we sent an entire team to go and learn from what other booths have done, and to plan our debut in the conference. And it was such an incredible moment. We absolutely loved it. And we loved meeting. We met over 9,000 dermatologists. And we now have a field team that is going into derm offices. We have an entire team that is working on partnering with derms. Obviously, we have our incredible, incredible derm advisory board of 9 dermatologists, which we speak to daily. So it's such a big moment for us, and we're so excited to be able to do more. And I think that they were so, I think a lot of people look at the branding and they look at the product and they see this and they
Right.
immediately assume like it's cute, but there's nothing really inside. And I think the fact that they were able to meet our chemists and they were able to speak to members of our derm advisory board, it really got them to understand that there's so much science and so much clinical backing in everything we've done. So it was such an amazing, amazing, amazing moment. And we can't wait to be doing a lot more, which we are working on.
I think it speaks to your reach because you can walk into a drugstore and, get your needs met and have your whole skincare routine, but you could also be going to your provider and this is what they're saying to go home and use. So I think that's wonderful. It was
Thank
great to
you.
see it.
Thank you. Thank
All
you so
right.
much.
And then for someone who's just getting into Bubble, what are the top 3 products that they should start with?
So I'll start by saying that it's like choosing a favorite child. So it's a very, very, very hard thing to choose. We put so much work and heart and science and soul into every product we develop. It takes us 2 to 3 years to create every product. We have, our in-house chemists are developing every formulation from scratch, and there's a lot of thinking and a lot of market research and a lot of review of clinical articles and really kind of thinking with our dermatologists what do they see out there and what do they think we should be focused on, and what has enough clinical backing, what is still in the early days, so which ingredients we should bet on. So there's a lot of work that goes into every product. And I would also say that I think one of the really special things about the brand is that the sensorial feel beyond the actual clinical results, the sensorial feel of every product is so elevated and so premium and so unique that it's truly like a joy to use. We like to say joy to your face. So, I can't really choose a favorite product. I can share my personal skincare routine, which I use a lot of different products from Bubble, but I use our first class oil cleanser and I double cleanse with Fresh Start gel cleanser, which are both our amazing, amazing, amazing cleanser that will remove your makeup, but will leave your skin so soft and never dry and just absolutely gorgeous. And it took us about 4.5 years to develop First Class, which is our oil cleanser. Then I go with Bounce Back, which is our toner. Then I go with a new product, which we approved the formulation over a year and a half ago. So it's been so long in the making. It's been over 3 years in the making. Then I use Water Slide, which is our hydrating serum. In the morning, I do Daydream, which is our vitamin C. In the evening, I do Super Clear, which is our salicylic acid serum. And then I either use Slam Dunk or Power Wave, depends if it's morning or evening. Power Wave is our new moisturizer, which is absolutely gorgeous, which is so hydrating, so nourishing.
Uh-huh.
It was clinically proven to plump and hydrate your skin. It's absolutely gorgeous. There's not a single person.
And I think that's a really great product too if you're in perimenopause. So just to hit on the intergenerational point again, because your skin is so dry and it really gives you everything you need.
And it's the kind of product that it's actually like, I would not recommend it to the average teen who struggles with acne because
Right,
it's so hydrating. It's actually non-comedogenic, but it's so hydrating that usually they're looking for something lighter.
right.
When you're actually like my mom, I love it because it's so hydrating and nourishing and it's such a luxurious feel
Mhm.
that I think it's like one of the best moisturizers ever created. And it's truly like our dermatologists were blown away by the formula and it's been one of the products that they've been recommending the most, especially for people who struggle with dryness.
Mhm.
Um, and then Power Wave or Slam Dunk. And then I do Overnight twice a week, which is our night mask. And which is a hydrating mask, and I do Deep Dive once a week. And in the morning, of course, I use Plus One, which is our tinted sunscreen, SPF 40, fully mineral. Our sunscreens that we created, we have two sunscreens, both are fully mineral, both are SPF 40. I like to say that they're the unicorn sunscreens. It's the only mineral sunscreen out there that actually feels like chemical sunscreen that do not leave any white cast, fully non-comedogenic, and they will never be chalky. They are so beautiful on the skin.
Yeah.
And it was actually the biggest hit on AAD was our sunscreen. So I'm a big user of Plus One, and my entire family is a big user of Solar Mate. Absolutely adore each and every one of the products, and so we are constantly working on bringing more and more innovation, but each product is a baby.
Going back to the product you were showing before, can you show us what you were teasing?
Yes. So this is a product that we've been working on for years, which is Cosmic Silk. Cosmic
Ooh,
Silk is our new milky toner, which is the absolutely most gorgeous, beautiful milky toner I think ever created. This is the formula. So you
nice.
can see like how silky and like rich it is. We conducted clinicals on the formulation and it had incredible results in like creating this glowy, beautiful complexion. The packaging is actually packaging that we also developed from scratch, which we're the only people in the world that has this packaging, which is essentially like a twist and pour mechanism.
Yeah.
So it's fully travel friendly. And it has ceramides. It's like gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous formula. And we're so excited to finally be launching this.
So exciting. I can't wait to get my hands on it.
I
It
will send it to you.
Oh, and I have one more question for you. What is one skincare myth or buzzword you wish people would stop believing or saying?
I think there are so many. I will say a few. I think talking about again younger consumers, the fact that people constantly say that they need to use certain products, like they don't. They need cleanser, moisturizer, and sunscreen. And really less is more when you're younger. And I think that the really big misconception that we always talk about, especially with our R&D team, is the fact that certain ingredients don't necessarily mean the quality of the formulation. One of the things that we always try to explain it is that when you create a formula, it's like baking a cookie. If you use the best butter in the world and you use the best, the sugar in the world and the best flour, but you overbake the cookie or you don't mix it well, or if you're not using it in the correct doses, like the cookie's not going to taste good. And I
Right.
think that it's the same when it comes to formulation. And it's something that a lot of brands go and they use very hyped ingredients, or they come and say like, oh, we have this and this ingredient, so the formula is efficacious. And then people actually try to use the product and they say they don't realize like, why is that doing nothing to my skin, or why is that breaking me out? And I think there's so much more to a formulation beyond just the ingredients.
Hmm.
So there's such a wide variety of aspects that influence the quality and the efficacy that comes with a certain formulation. So I think like ingredients don't necessarily equate a formula, essentially.
Right. And that is frustrating too when an ingredient gets really popular and then all of a sudden you see it everywhere. And it's not always, it doesn't need to be in every product. So, well, sorry, go ahead.
No, just to say another thing, which is, I think also there are so many hyped ingredients, which honestly, most of the time have not been tested thoroughly enough to have the true clinical backing. And I
Right.
think that's another thing, which is like all these hyped ingredients that people say, like, oh, it's so good for your skin. But the truth is that when you actually go and conduct the clinical research, it wasn't really thoroughly studied. So you can't really attribute all these different things to that one ingredient.
Right. Well, we're in the snail mucin, salmon sperm kind of era right now. So
Placenta.
placenta, but I do trust your formulation. Thank you so much for coming and speaking with us on the Beauty Authority.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank
You
you.
too. Thank you so much. Bye.